A wide range of animals are blessed with horns to protect themselves against vicious attacks from predators. Most of these animals would be totally defenseless without these weapons, and they would have no way to fight back in life or death situations. But can animals with horns effectively use them to fight off their attackers? Let's take a look. In today's video, we will show you 12 instances when animals destroyed their attackers with horns. Number 12. Buffalo versus lion cubs. Predators come in all shapes and sizes. Since they start off early, lion cubs have the same predatory instincts as their parents, so when they see a potential prey, they may attack. In some cases, lion cubs may underestimate their opponent's strength and attack animals much larger and more powerful than them. A gang of young lions have managed to sabotage a hefty adult buffalo. Things are looking great for the lions at first, but one of the cubs has almost half of the buffalo's horn pierced into its flesh. It is painfully hanging on to its dear life because the rookie attacker took a misstep and did not consider the fatal consequences the horns could cause. As the fight continues, the horns are digging deeper into the lion's limb, leading to a rupture in the arteries, extreme blood loss, and finally the cub's death. The entire horde is trying to subdue the beast, and after an intense standoff, the buffalo unhooks the cub with one final head jerk. The terrified cub escapes from the alleged victim after a close call with death. Number 11. Sable versus lion. Sables are a class of antelopes and mostly found in the open grasslands of the savanna, where they share their home with a vast variety of wildlife. Needless to say, those include many predators that are always on the lookout for possible meals. A lion paces towards a sable that's strolling by the water bank and pounces on its back. For a moment, the startled sable loses balance and falls to the ground, giving ultimate control to the predator. But instead of surrendering, the antelope aggressively swings its long, sharp horns in an attempt to stab the predator. Although the horns don't penetrate the big cat's skin, they do seem to cause some amount of pain, because the lion immediately lets the animal go and retreats. It's almost as if the lion can't wait to get away and swims away from the precarious situation. Number 10. Yak versus snow leopard. Snow leopards are ambush predators who excel in stalking their hunt, sneaking up and planting a sudden attack to catch its prey off guard. They usually occupy the high grounds to gain a vantage point over their prey, but if their opponents are yaks, things might not always go as planned. Sitting atop a mountain ledge, this snow leopard is eyeing a herd of yak at a distance, particularly one of the calves. A vulnerable calf is an easy prey, but the only problem is the herd that surrounds it. Nevertheless, the leopard descends as sneakily as possible. Somehow, the yaks become aware of this predator and scatter, giving a chance to the attacker to get hold of the calf by its neck. Latching onto its prey, the snow leopard gets dragged in the terrain while a yak charges at it and attempts to stab it with its horns. The leopard is severely outnumbered and in a compromising position. The adult continues stabbing and, with one major blow, tosses the attacker in the air and away from the captured calf. The snow leopard then flees to avoid further attacks. Number 9. Buffalo versus tiger. Tigers are exceptional predators, but even the best can make mistakes sometimes. Buffaloes are frequently hunted because of their sheer abundance in the wild, but that doesn't mean they are an easy kill. Their strength, unity, and their horns make them extremely difficult to conquer. Right in the middle of a vicious ongoing battle, the tiger is tightly clutching a buffalo in its claws, while the others in the herd are trying to ward off the predator. The stubborn attacker has no intention of letting go and skillfully counters every strike until the buffaloes start using their horns. They charge at the tiger while tilting their head in order to poke a hole in it. After a few close saves, the tiger gets intimidated and takes off, abandoning its prey. Number 8. Buffaloes versus lions. The majestic king of the jungle does not discriminate between its prey or count their capabilities, which sometimes backfires in the most unexpected ways. Clearly, buffaloes are a tricky catch, and one mistake can change the entire course of actions. This clip opens with a terrified, wounded lion surrounded by a herd of angry buffalo. The lion is clearly exhausted and desperately seeking a way out. It runs for a tree while getting stabbed on its way. It somehow manages to reach the tree and climb a certain height only to slide down a moment later. This time, the herd hovers over it, and each takes turns tossing it into the air with their powerful horns. This intense stabbing goes on for quite some time, leaving the lion severely wounded and barely breathing. Creating a whirlwind of dust in the middle of a frantic buffalo herd, a lion is being ruthlessly mutilated by the entire gang. The buffaloes take turns to toss the lion in the air with their pointy horns, severely injuring the predator with each strike. Crushed under this stampede, combined with the constant stabbing, has taken a toll on the animal. The exhausted lion is barely holding on to its life with no chance of survival unless the buffaloes decide otherwise. This buffalo spots a sleeping lion and makes a move on it. In a split second, it lifts the agitated lion in its strong bendy hooks and flips it midair. The lion is caught off guard at this unexpected attack, but tries to somehow defend itself. However, it wasn't strong enough to fend off the attacks from the heavyweight contender. Fortunately, the buffalo had no intention of killing the predator and took off after a brief altercation. Number 7. Nyala vs. Cheetah. Nyalas are a fascinating species of antelope with striking spiral-shaped horns. They are often targeted by cheetahs, and that's when these horns can come in handy. As this Nyala calmly enjoys a grazing session, 3 stalker cheetahs charge towards it. It takes refuge in a thick bush to block attacks from any other sides. As they make a perimeter and attempt to attack, the prey utilizes its enormous horns to strike the attackers. Not sure how to deal with this deadly defense, the cheetahs pull back every time the Nyala charges at them. With no other entry point and no intention to get fatally stabbed with those long horns, this hunt clearly isn't going as planned. Number 6. Rhino vs. Buffalo. Rhinos are beefy, aggressive animals with a long, lethal spike right at the tip of their face. Buffaloes are armed with 2 gigantic horns on either side for defense and attack. So, a confrontation between these two essentially means a clash of horns. The buffalo and the rhino have locked horns, and the buffalo is giving a tough fight, but fails to match the sheer strength of its opponent. The rhino pushes the buffalo back and slides its spike underneath it to topple the animal. You can clearly perceive the difference of strength between the two. The buffalo manages to land on its feet and charges to apply the same attacking tactic, but loses balance, giving another opportunity to the rhino to tip over its contender. As it gets dragged, the buffalo stands back up, and this time it takes no further chance and takes off in the opposite direction. 2 enraged opponents are at butt heads, adamant to take down the other one. Both are exerting the maximum pressure to overpower its contender, but the rhino manages to take control. After a few harmless pokes, the rhino makes an impactful strike as it throws the heavy-weighted buffalo in the air. The buffalo switches to defending itself as the critical position of a rhino's horn can pierce right through its face. The buffalo herd decides to close in, indicating a mob attack which intimidates the rhino. Defending itself against so many horns might prove fatal, so it slowly backs up while still maintaining eye contact with its opponent. Number 5. Oryx vs. Young lions. Lions are meticulous predators, but sometimes they misjudge their victim or fail to anticipate certain factors relating to them. While hunting an animal like oryx, you have to be extra cautious about their perfectly honed and straight horns. One misstep, and those horns can poke a hole in the lion's body, injuring or even killing it. 2 young lions chase an oryx and pounce from behind. The prey goes down, but doesn't surrender right away. Instead, it sways its head and attempts to poke one of the predators who backs down immediately, and then it turns to poke the one behind. The lion unclasps the prey and bolts back. The attacker is aware that the horns could easily penetrate through its body, causing immense damage. The rookies still look around for some time, but ultimately give up on their hunting plan. Number 4. Rhino vs. Warthogs. Sometimes, trying to share a meal with an unpleasant neighbor can cause fatal consequences. This warthog and rhino encounter started on a totally different perspective, but did not end on a good note. The rhino enjoying its mealtime is interrupted by some over-friendly warthogs who want to share too. Initially, the rhino is not bothered with these uninvited guests, but as one of them gets too invasive, the rhino flips out and charges at it. It's too late for the warthog to defend itself, and the rhino tosses the animal high up in the air, and it comes crashing down and lands hard on its back. Number 3. Antelope vs. Lions. When your prey is equipped with sharp, edgy spears on their head, you have to watch every step and consider every small detail to take them down. But hunting cannot always happen by the books, and impulsive decisions by a predator in the heat of the moment can backfire. From the looks of it, 2 lions have already captured their prey by digging their razor-sharp teeth into the flesh of a fallen antelope. Problem arises when both the predators focus on the rear end, and one of them eventually leaves the prey's head unattended. The antelope suddenly bends its head backwards to poke its attackers with the lethal horns, startling the lions. The frantic head movement makes it too risky for the lions to subdue their prey without getting stabbed. Eventually, they back off, allowing the antelope to stand back up. Although it is severely injured, this antelope probably won't die today. A lion stalks the animal for a certain distance, but never gathers the courage to approach the mighty horned beast again. Number 2. Antelope versus cheetah. With horns as their primary form of defense, antelopes will never leave a chance to utilize their horns to get out of sticky situations. However, escaping from a gang of vicious, hungry cheetahs can be extremely difficult, horn or no horn. 3 cheetahs have pinned down an antelope, grabbing it by its neck, and the prey seem to be surrendering when one of the predators makes the mistake of attacking it from the front. The startled cheetah immediately falls back, and as the last dire attempt to survive, the antelope turns back and attempts to stab each of its predators as they frantically push back. This gives enough time to the wounded victim to get away from a death trap. Number 1. Buffaloes versus lioness. Even the most mundane hunts can take an unexpected twist, and the predators can become the victim of their own attack. Though a pride is efficiently enough to tackle any prey irrespective of their size, sometimes their hunting strategy might falter tragically. A lioness has captured a buffalo and skillfully latches onto its rear end to bring it down. As the prey surrenders, the rest of its herd approaches and immediately charges the attacker. With one swift slide of the horns underneath the lioness, the buffalo throws the attacker a good few feet off the ground. The lioness flips over on the other side, and the buffalo dashes for a second strike. The lioness crashes on the ground and is forced to flee the scene because, without backup, she is no match against the entire herd, and especially the lethal horns. That's all for today, folks. Which of these horned attacks was the most brutal according to you? Let us know in the comments down below. Plus, don't forget to like and share this video with your friends and family. To get more such amazing videos, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon so that you can get notified every time we upload a new video. Have a great day, and we hope to see you soon in another exciting video.